Al Rodriguez. I'm the Vice President of Sales for Vida Divina. Vida Divina, for those who don't know, is an emerging global company. Literally, we're just getting started, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But really what I want to do today is I want to lay down just brass tacks, straight talk, because let's face it, when you ask somebody, hey, June Lee, how are you? When you ask somebody, do you want to make more money? It's yes or no. If the answer is no, they probably didn't understand the question, right? So we're going to lay it all down. Hey, Mario, how are you? We're going to lay it down very, very directly. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do to have what I call an anywhere-based business. And so I want to welcome you on tonight. And so today is all about the business opportunity. It is about showing you what Vida Divina is about, why we're different, why right now is the absolutely perfect time to join us. If anybody agrees with anything I say during the way, feel free to give me some hearts. I love the hearts. The hearts allow this one-way communication for me. See, the only way I can know that I got some good feedback is, of course, to read your comments or to get some hearts. And so feel free to, thank you very much. Feel free to do that. I appreciate that. And so, first of all, let me digress a little bit. What is Vida Divina and what profession are we in? This is for those of you who maybe are standing on the sidelines and you're not sure what Vida Divina is. Vida Divina is in the network marketing profession, and we're in direct sales. We're a little bit of both, and I'll explain why in a minute. Now, for those of you who don't understand what that means and you think that network marketing is your uncle 20 years ago selling soap door to door, I want you to come out from under that cave, or from that cave under that rock, because we did as a profession $183 billion last year as a profession in products and services. It is a proven concept, okay? That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about, it's not whether it works or not. See, and you've got lots of choices. You could choose Vida Divina. You could choose any number of companies. I'm here to sell you on your dreams, and I'm here to sell you that Vida Divina is the absolute, positively best vehicle for it. Now, let me put some things in perspective. Vida Divina is a very young, emerging company. We just started shipping product recently. We just paid our first 2 commission runs for Fast Start, and next week we're going to pay our first binary commission. If you've ever wanted to be at the right place and the right time, this is it. Now, who is this company not for? Can I just tell you who it's not for? Okay, let me tell you who it's not for. Okay, it is not for someone who wants and feels that they need a color brochure to make $1 million. This is not for someone that needs some website that does automatic lead sucking and it does all the work for you and you do nothing and you sit on the beach and make $1 million. By the way, that doesn't exist, okay? So first of all, it's okay to be temporarily ambitious to then be lazy long-term. You just can't be lazy long-term to start with, right? This is network marketing. So people miss 2 things in network marketing. You want to know what those 2 things are that people miss in network marketing? They miss the networking and they miss the marketing. Now, guys, I don't care how you do the business, and we've done the business online, offline. We've used lead capture pages. We've used the phone. We've used Skype. When we lived in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, in 2014 and 2015. We did meetings locally. We did Skype. We did internet landing pages. I did bridge. A to Z. Here's my point: is with Vida Divina, doesn't matter who you are. At the end of the day, it is a contact sport. You're looking to do 2 things. Can I just get that out of the way? You're looking to do 2 things. You're looking to gather customers of our amazing products, which I'll talk about in just a minute. The other thing that you're doing, in addition to finding customers, is you're finding affiliates, which are like you and me, who want to make money. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to find customers, and they're going to find affiliates. And guess what their people are going to do? Do you get that? It's a spider web. The bigger your spider web is of customers and affiliates, the more money you make. The smaller it is, the less money you make. Sometimes there's a misunderstanding because of the hype in this business or because the sponsor is inexperienced. You're not going to have a tiny network and make a lot of money. By the way, that wouldn't happen in real estate, mortgage, insurance, car sales, jewelry stores, restaurants. It wouldn't work in any other business. Why would it work in network marketing? So Vida Divina is this emerging company that I'm going to talk about. But let me, before I get ahead of myself, and you know what? Many of you may become uncomfortable for the next 60 seconds if you take it to heart. Because what I'm going to say in the next minute or so is easier for my 11-year-old twins to digest than a 40-year-old man and woman. And what is that? The question is, what do you want? What is it you want? When I got in network marketing, I was a successful mortgage banker. I owned a company. I owned a real estate franchise. So I want you to understand that not everybody gets into network marketing because they have no money. Now, if you have no money, don't make that an excuse. Make that a reason. I talked to a guy yesterday. He asked to look at the business. He looked at the business. I love Vida Divina. It looks great, but I have no money. And I said, friend, I said, what do you mean you got no money? He says, I got no money. Now, according to his profile picture, the guy looks like in his 40s, so he's probably been working 25 plus years full time. Now, I didn't offend the guy, but I just told him, I said, man, whatever you're doing, with all due respect, is it working? He says, what do you mean? I said, well, if you don't have $120 or $300 to get started in a little business like this, then what you're doing isn't working. So, don't use no money as an excuse. Use no money as a reason, right? So when people say I have no money, no time, I would, but my kids, but my spouse, but this, but that. I said, you know what? Use those things not as excuses, use them as reasons. Now, I promised you a little straight talk. So, for the people who are watching, my friends who know me, who might be considering joining Vida Divina, you already know how I am. I'm a straight shooter, right? I love everybody. I respect people. But you know what? You get what you pay for with me, which is the truth, right? And here's why the truth is so important. Because we live a lie. Anthony Robbins talks about the stories we tell ourselves, right? All these stories are the mental gymnastics of why you can't have success. And he says they're the lies. And that's what we do to ourselves. We convince ourselves. I've heard people say, Al, but I'm not good at sales. That's because you've never sold before. But Al, I'm not good at recruiting. That's because you've never recruited before. And if you're not good as an entrepreneur, it's because you've never been a successful entrepreneur. But guess what? Here's the good news. You can learn, and we'll teach you, and we'll help you, right? It's as simple as that. So, by the way, excuses, we all got a bunch of them, right? But I'll tell you that they don't serve us. They just don't serve us, right? And I'm going to kind of get off my soapbox there. But when I got back, when I got in the business many years ago, I was successful. I didn't get in because I had no money. I didn't even get in because I wanted a little bit more money. I'll tell you what I got in. Because when I finally, kind of the light bulb went off, I realized this was a lifestyle business. That not only could I make a lot of money, but I could buy my time back. See, if you're an entrepreneur and you have a traditional business, you know what I'm talking about. I bought my time back. Now, if you're, you have a job, I think jobs are great. You need them to pay your bills. But, if you ever say, I have no time, I hate to go in on Saturday, my boss wants me to work overtime, you have no time either. And so you have a couple choices, right? Most people just complain, right? About their job, their boss, their commute, that all those hours they're spending in that starter coffin called a cubicle, right? And so I'm having a little fun with you, don't get mad. But what you do outside of that is what you need. So I got in the business many years ago. I wanted to have financial freedom, but I already had financial freedom to a certain extent. I had a lot of money, I had no time. I was the first one in the office, the last one to leave, never went on vacation, even though I had money in the bank. So now what I did is I got time freedom. So for those who don't know me, I've been at this full time for a while. My wife is a psychologist by education. In case you're wondering, I am getting better after 16 years. She's from the country of Colombia. She's a stay-at-home mom. And we have 11-year-old twins that we've been homeschooling their entire school life. And we travel, we have fun. In fact, tomorrow, early morning, we leave in our RV and we're going to go to the beach. And guess what? Even though we'll be at the beach, I'll still have my cell phone, I'll have my tablet. I can do my business anywhere. And that's why this is titled an Anywhere Business Model. Because you can do this anywhere. When people say I have no time, I said, you know what? You don't need a bunch of time, friend. But you got to make a change in order to change some things in your life. I know a guy who used to commute, this is a number of years ago, and what he did is in the morning, he was in California. He called all the people on the East Coast because they were up 3 hours later. On his break and on his lunch hour, he called and texted people. On his way home, he did more follow-ups. He built a 6-figure income about 15 years ago. That would be a lot more money today. All on a part-time basis in the nooks and crannies, right? If the dream is big enough, the facts don't count, right? And so I want to talk to you a little bit about that. Again, I promise straight talk, and so you've been forewarned, right? If someone says, man, that Al, he's a hard butt. Well, maybe I am. But you know what? It's because I do it out of love and respect. I want to kind of shake you a little bit tonight and get you out of your comfort zone. Because you know what? You can have whatever you're willing to work for, right? Not just wish for, hope for, right? By the way, a lot of people think that MLM or network marketing is a lottery, like the M&M lottery. No, it's not. It's work. But here's the good news is you don't need any offices, employees. Now, I got to be honest with you. You can get it 4 different packs of Vida Divina. You can get it in 120, but if you really want to know the truth, if you were starting a jewelry store, you need some inventory. If you're going to start a restaurant, you need some food, right? Get a product pack where you got some products to sell, right? Where you can go hustle and make some money and go flip and make $400, $500, $600 the first week, right? There's no other reason. Don't get in this business, guys, to go make 20 bucks, right? Go deliver pizzas if you want to do that, right? I'm talking about getting that mindset and just going all out, but within the confines of what you can do, all right? So I want you to start thinking, what would you do? What would you do today? What would be different today if today you got up and you looked in your back office and you had $2,000 of commissions deposited this week, and you looked at your back office and you've got another $5,000, $6,000 or $10,000 for next week? How would you feel? Would remember, some of you that are a little bit older remember this little African American boy, Rodney Allen Ripley, with Jack in the Box, and he'd say, "Take life a little easier," right? Well, you would take life a little easier. You would slow down. You would have more fun. You would smile more. You would sleep better. Let me tell you, there's nothing better, friend, than being debt-free and sleeping. What if you didn't get into Vida Divina to make $1 million, right? What if you didn't? What if all you did, you made an extra $500 a week? Do you know that's $25,000 or $26,000 a year? You could probably retire your debt, right? And then you could save some money, you can go on some great vacations. You wouldn't even have to be a millionaire or even full-time in this business. It's an extra income flow. You know, if you listen to Robert Kiyosaki and many of the other gurus that talk about finances, almost all of them talk to you about having an additional stream of income. So you love being an engineer? Keep being an engineer. Just add an extra $1,000 a week to your business, right? Yeah, you like being a school teacher? Continue to be a school teacher. Add an extra $500 to $700 a week to your income, right? It just makes sense, guys. So if that makes sense, then I want, give me some hearts if that makes sense so far. All right, so let's talk about some fundamental things. First of all, let's get to brass tacks, right? I want to give you a long commercial about Vida Divina because I want to get down to what you need to do, right? If you're here, you want to make more money, right? I'm not convincing you. I don't have to drag you across the finish line. You're already here. We're kindred spirits, right? Because we're freedom seekers. We're freedom fighters, right? We're a little bit different than everybody else. And by the way, if you ever feel a little different, if you ever talk to your family and they're not all about it, it isn't you, it's them. Unfortunately, the masses of people have accepted mediocrity as an acceptable norm. Forget about it, right? I should do that more of an Italian Jersey accent, but I don't think I have one. And so, Vida Divina means the divine life. If you look at our logo, it has a spiritual connotation to it. We're believers, we stand on firm ground. But the other thing that Vida Divina, or the divine life, means, it means a good life, living your good life, your best life now. We're talking family, friends, fun, integrity, vacations. Why not? You'll see in the pay plan in a minute that it even covers home ownership, because we believe home ownership is a key foundation to the family, right? Now, by the way, just so you know, I'm okay with you buying 3 Ferraris, getting a mansion and whatnot. That's just not our culture, right? You want to get, we're not going to find our diamonds and crown diamonds get up and talk about that, because that's not our culture. Our culture is about having more fun, about helping more people. And yes, making money. Go get the 3 Ferraris. That's just not our culture. So, a couple of fundamental things. We are a brand new baby company. But why are we different? Why are we different? Well, number one is we are the manufacturer. For those of you who don't know this, never, ever, ever, ever do you see a brand new startup as the manufacturer. In fact, if you look around our space and other colleagues, you'll find plenty of 5, 10, 15-year-old companies that don't own the manufacturer. They outsource it. Now, not that that's a problem, but let me tell you what happens when you outsource it. Don't you pay them for the service? Right. So might that be the reason the products are more expensive? Might that be why the ingredients have been minimized or compromised? Absolutely. So the fact that Vida Divina is the manufacturer allows a couple of things. We buy the bulk ingredients, great pricing, better ingredients. And so we're able to provide our end users, our affiliates, and our customers a high quality product for a real world price. Listen to me, network marketing has great products, but we don't have real world prices. We have $150 wrinkle creams. We have $90 weight loss shakes. It doesn't make sense to people who aren't building a check. We want you to have tons and tons and tons of customers who not only love the products, but actually find it reasonable to buy our products. So what's our product price wholesale? Preferred customer and wholesale, $40. $40 across the board. No $150 wrinkle creams. Imagine that, right? Isn't that great? So that's good for those of you in the United States. It's good for our international markets, especially in markets, for example, in Latin America where, the dollar is, the dollar competes against them. And so they can still be able to do that. Our tea product, 6 envelopes of tea, which is 6 gallons for $40. Guys, that's very, very inexpensive. People are flipping that for $15, $20. You could go make $300, $400, $500, $600 a week just flipping tea, right? We haven't talked about the rest of anything else. Now, we've got more countries coming soon. We've got 10 core countries where we have operations. We have 32 countries that we're shipping through our Amazon shipper. And I want you to know that this is all new. This is all new, okay? So again, this is not a customer service update. I'm just letting you know where we're at, right? This is all new. And we've got limited products right now. We're adding some more in November. We're adding some more in December. And then for 2017, we have better than 185 products in about 10 categories. Now, if that's not strong, manufacturer, countries, Amazon site shipping and whatnot, then I don't know what is. Now, if you're looking at, hey Al, but you guys don't have that really nice full color brochure that Company X has. Well, Company X has been around 10, 15 years. If you think the opportunity is there, you should go there. There's nothing wrong with that. But here's what always people say, well, I think they've been around too long. Well, you got to pick a horse and ride it. Let me tell you, I've never heard a $1 million earner get on stage and say, you know what, the reason I made $1 million a year is because we have the absolute best color brochures at my company. I've never heard a big earner say, you know what, we made $1 million as a couple last year in our company, ABC, because we have the most beautiful websites possible. Guys, those things are all important, but we've got to take our consumer hat off, put our entrepreneur hat on. It's as simple as that, right? So we've got detox tea, we've got coffee products coming, we've got sexual performance and enhancement products, Mars and Venus. And someone invited you here, I want you to get back to them, right? If you're one of my friends, well, just go ahead and get in my inbox and I'll make sure you get the information. I don't want to spend a ton of time talking about every single product and boring people to death. By the way, we have phenomenal products, but you know what? You don't have to be a scientist. You don't have to be a nutritionist. You don't have to be a product expert. You don't have to be a doctor. This is a marketing business. Don't forget that. It's a network marketing business, right? Those of you who can market without being product experts will grow faster than the average person, right? We have Ganoderma, we have Chaga, Cordyceps, time capsules. In fact, I don't want to take too much of the time capsules. I kind of like my gray hairs, kind of a wisdom, distinguished look thing. But I'll take a little bit. Maybe I'll get a little bit of dark hair back again. We've got live capsules coming. And so, there's lots of product categories we're going to get. I'm going to show you something. See if you can see that. So this is let's see, that's not the right slide. Let's see. Here it is. Liquid gold. If you're familiar with liquid gold, go ahead and give me some hearts. It is a great product. That's my beautiful wife there, showing liquid gold. Liquid gold is a emu oil-based product. It has other essential oils. It's good for pain, arterial stimulation, scalp, psoriasis, other type of pain. joints. I mean, people love liquid gold, right? They love our tea. They love liquid gold. You're going to love Vida Divina. You're going to love our time capsules, our life capsules, our sports nutrition line. The ladies are going to love the organic cosmetics because you're going to be able to get affordable, high-end department store type quality, but it's all organic and it's good for you. And we'll have different things for different skin tones. And so, guys, that's about enough that I want to do on the products. I want to talk to you now about a business, right? And I'm not going to go through a compensation plan explanation. That's right, Shakiri. I start talking about emo oil on steroids. It seems that the phrase stuck. I hope it's okay. And so, listen. Here's what this business is. Can I get real with you? Here's what this business is. It's a lot of people doing a few simple actions over a consistent period of time. When you can build a team, listen to me, friends. When you can build a team, you can go off and take off to the Bahamas, Cancun, on an RV like we're going tomorrow to the beach, or just play in the park with your kids and grandkids, and you're not on the front lines anymore. Now, our direct sales model where you sell the product, that's your now money. Get your hustle on. That's your now money. If you've never sold, learn to sell. Everybody sells. The kid in the cereal aisle at the supermarket selling mom on that cereal because he or she wants the toy. When I met my wife 2 weeks into meeting her in Colombia, I proposed to her. Believe me, I was selling and I was closing. Everybody sells, not everybody gets paid. You want to get paid, right? You want to get paid. And so, by the way, job security, that's the new risky, right? Because your job's only as secure as the company, right? So, everybody's got to be selling or you're in a jeopardy situation, bottom line. It is the best talent that you can learn. I'm a paid member of Grant Cardone University, and I can tell you there's some guys in there. I'll tell you what, learn to sell. You'll never ever go hungry. Learn to sell. You'll never ever worry about having an above average income, right? It's a skill. It's a learned skill, right? Kids learn to ride a bicycle. Adults need to learn how to sell if they haven't sold, right? Now, selling is professional. I'm talking about hype. I'm talking about solution-oriented selling. So anyway, so on the front end, 50 to 70%. So those of you who aren't familiar with our compensation plan, you sell a product pack, you're going to get 50 to 70% weekly pay, right? You sell $1,000 worth of product this week, right? Maybe you sign someone up on a $600 pack. You find 4 customers at $100 a piece. That's it. You sold $1,000. You just made $500. Do that every week, you make $500 a week, you make about $25,000, $26,000 a year part-time. Phenomenal. Whether you build a team or not, whether you like to build a team or not, or whether you learn to build a team, you can get into profit right away. Now, I won't get into the finite parts, but as you move up in the rank, you get more, you get up to 70%, number one. Number two, as you move up in rank, you start getting the difference. It's called roll-up commissions. If I'm at 60 and you're at 50, every time you sell a product pack, you get 50, I get 10%. And I can get it over one person, a dozen, dozens, or hundreds of people. The Vida Divina plan is amazing, right? We have presenter bonuses. But now, what I really want to do is I want to talk to you real quickly about the residual income, because that is your lifestyle money, guys. That is what really has allowed me to love this profession. Now, am I frustrated with this profession? Sure, because so did the mortgage business frustrate me and my real estate franchise. That's life, right? You might love your husband or wife, but you can't tell me that sometimes you'll get a little frustrated with them. Well, my friend Big Al Tom Schreider is a trainer in the network marketing profession. You know what he says? He says, choose the company you're going to have your problems with and marry that company for life. Choose the company you're going to have your problems with and marry that company for life. Guys, people are people. Who makes up companies? People. So there's always going to be obstacles, whether it's today, tomorrow. So just marry your company for life. I hope that you're going to marry Vida Divina for life, right? Let's run this thing till the wheels come off, right?